G'day, this is Captainoob and this is the SKS rifle. Now all I know about this weapon is that it is from Mother Russia, so this one goes out to all you cheeky breekies out there in the Eastern European sector of the planet. So this mod adds two standalone SKS weapons. One of them is in standard semi-automatic form, and one of them looks more modernized with the pistol grip and the M4 looking stock as an automatic variant, which is kind of cool, so you get a little bit of variety out of these things, although I'm not sure why you just wouldn't put these in the same weapon, just have them, you know, with different receivers, although I'm guessing it's got something to do with the entire build of this weapon being completely different. You'd have to change all of the animations too. But saying that, these animations remain the same between these weapons. We'll get to all of that later. First of all, we'll get right into the attachments, and what we want to do here to get the best damage, you get the Stalin Fire Receiver, which actually makes us use the depleted uranium rounds. And yes, there's a couple of different ammo types for this. There's one called the Orange Dot Receiver, which gives you orange T rounds, probably just incendiary rounds, but more Russian than your standard Fallout 4 stuff, so yeah, that's cool. But yeah, with the Stalin Fire Receiver, you get 361 energy damage, which is massive. That's a huge damage bonus, so I don't think we're going to need too much more than that to actually have this viable, but we can actually keep going. We can keep increasing that damage. Now, to get the best damage, you can actually make this barrel longer. The longer the barrel is, the higher the damage is, which makes a lot of sense because the extra barrel space will help the bullet travel quicker, because there's less drag when it comes out of the barrel if it was somewhere over here. So there's less air it has to go through. It makes it flow a little bit quicker. I know about ballistics, trust me. Now, for the stock, what you can do to increase the damage even more is give this one a sharpshooter stock, which will put a bunch of bullets along there. Not very usable since we're going to be using a magazine with this, but I'm assuming this weapon in real life was fed the old stripper clips back in World War II when I think this was around. So yeah, this thing is mag fed, unfortunately, so a little bit of less realism out of the one without the pistol grip and magazine. And speaking of magazines, you can chuck a whole massive drum in here, which looks kind of ridiculous. I think we'll just leave it at the 30 round magazine and then we'll move on from that. Now you can put a whole bunch of scopes on them. You can tell what they are at a glance. The scopes look actually kind of cool, but yeah, the textures seem to be suffering a bit on this marksman stock here. I'm not really sure what that's all about. But what I want to do for this one is add on a recon scope, at 4 times there. Don't really need to go more than that. This will be our sniper one. Now, there's no suppressors on this weapon, so we can't be very quiet with this. But all we can do is chuck on a focuser, and that'll boost our damage even more. Awesome stuff there, and that'll make the barrel even longer. It's like you're compensating for something, Raine. Settle down. Okay, and there's this. This is a leftover from the combat rifle, you know, just attachment slot. So yeah, they actually do nothing, but it's there just because the mod didn't remove it. And there's a legendary effect on that. And we'll quickly skim through the automatic upgrades. What we want to do is add the best damage one, which is the Motherland Auto Receiver. Nice. That gives us a 231 rate of fire, so that's extremely high. I don't think any vanilla weapons get even that high. Go for a long auto barrel there for better damage, and the Assassin's auto stock, and that'll give us a little bit more accuracy, which is nice. It'll also give it a nice camo, and we'll chuck on a huge big old drum in there. Yep, we'll go for the drum, and for the sights we'll just go for a standard reflex sight. I don't think we'll need any more than that. And same thing as the semi-auto one, if we put a focuser on it, that'll increase our damage a little bit. And of course the material there is there from the combat rifle, and a legendary effect is there if you need it. But if you need a legendary effect, this weapon obviously isn't doing the damage, and it's doing the damage alright. We'll take these into Gunner's Plaza after grabbing some of the ammo, and we'll see how these go. Okay, as it turns out, this receiver makes it fire lasers, so I'm going to change that. No, as it turns out, the focuser just makes it shoot lasers, like a laser focuser on a laser rifle changes the projectiles. So yeah, we've switched up the muzzles now, and now they're firing actual bullets. Actually, before we get into shooting people, I just want to show you where to grab it. So here we are in Concord. If you don't know where Concord is, you've obviously never played Fallout 4, because it's one of the first places you bloody go to. So what you want to do is find some sort of ruined drugstore. I believe it is this one. Head up onto the second second floor, and there you will find your SKS and all of the bloody rounds in the world, which is great, in their own custom boxes. So you don't have to worry about finding ammo for this. Even in the early game, there's just a whole stack of this. And if you have the Scrounger perk, you can increase your ammo even more. So there you have it. Also, there's an SKS schematics. I'm going to play that. What's inside here? Absolutely nothing, but it might have done something. Anyways, that's how you get them. Let's actually move on to some gameplay now. Okay, so here we are in Gunner's Plaza. The plan is we're going to use the automatic one, which I've got in my hands right now for Gunner's Plaza, and then we'll move on and use a semi-auto one for the Quincy Ruins, because I feel like we're going to go through these gunners pretty quickly with these weapons. So, right off the bat, we're being assaulted by a hammer and sickle, which is kind of disgusting. Get that communism out of my face, or Liberty Prime will come and stomp me. And that's what it looks like in first person when you aim down sights. As you can tell, even in third person, this weapon is way too big. It's too big. Scale that down a little bit in NIF scope and then you'll be right to go. But yes, as you can tell, we're also using the combat rifle animations, like I said before, for a pistol grip weapon. If the modder has the Nuka World DLC, you could easily just make it use the handmade rifle animations and that'll be good. Other than that, this thing actually looks pretty awesome. The textures and models look okay. I think this mod was ported from somewhere. It doesn't look the greatest, but I feel like it does alright for what it is. Anyways, without further ado, I might as well start shooting people now. And I also like how... oh, it's so in your face. It's even worse than a... oh, okay, that's devastating. But yes, it's even worse than a Institute rifle when it comes to taking up your screen space. Ah yes, we've got the War Daddy animation for the combat rifle working for us there, so that's pretty good. If I can hit my targets, we're doing pretty devastating damage against these guys. And as you can tell, the recoil on this thing isn't too bad either. And the rate of fire, it's pretty much an insta-kill. So maybe some balancing needs to be tweaked with this weapon. But in terms of damage, it's doing fine. It's doing too much damage, but you know, it's early days for this mod. I suspect it's going to be refined and hopefully improved, and maybe even ported to console. Depends if you blokes want it. Be sure to actually let the modder know, not me. Yeah, don't comment in my section saying Xbox ? Because that just annoys me. I will never respond to those comments. But yes, be sure to check out the modders page and just say, hey, is this coming to console soon? And yeah, and we'll just see how that goes. Also, the tactical rail is huge in my face too, which is not very aesthetically pleasing. But as you can tell, I just ran into that situation head on. We've also got 170 bullets in this drum magazine, which maybe you'll be able to fit the 45 ACPs on the combat rifle in there if they have some sort of crazy drum system. But I don't think you'll be fitting 170 7.62s in there. That's crazy talk. This weapon is a little bit on the wild side, isn't it? I could probably have done that with a single magazine if I had have chosen my shots more carefully and put them like just use VATs to get constant headshots. But there you have it. That was the automatic SKS in Gunner's Plaza there. OP is the word I'd use to describe its performance. But at least it looks cool, right? Despite being too big. We'll move on to Quincy Ruins. We'll use our scoped semi-auto version, and we'll see how that one does. Righto, so here we are outside Quincy during daylight hours, because we really don't need stealth on our side when we've got an overpowered rifle like this. That's what it looks like in third person in the daylight, so you blokes can see it a little bit better. And we'll just switch over to the automatic one for a second, just so you can see that one too. Okay, looking time is over. Now is shooting time. Got that 4 times recon scope on this, so we should be fine to take out each of our targets in one shot there. That was a sneak attack crit along with a headshot there, so that's why we dropped that guy in one hit. That's about the same damage we got out of the pepper box yesterday, so you know, that's kind of cool. This person is glitching through the stairs, but looks like we can get him with good hitbox tactics there. Ooh, that one doesn't have a stealth boy today. Also, you took a whole lot of extra damage, interestingly enough. Okay, we'll jump up on top of this here church, and we'll see how it goes. Ooh, looks like the scope lens there is a little bit on the untextured side, which is interesting, which isn't really much of a problem because, as you can tell, you can't even see it in first person. So yeah, that's kind of interesting. Okay, that person's running up to me. I'll take them out like this. Get a pretty decent rate of fire out of this thing as well, which is pretty good. And very little recoil to even offset your accuracy, so yeah, there's no excuses for missing, is there? As I say that, as I miss multiple shots. So many gunners, so little time. We'll take them out a little bit like this. Looks like it's compatible with the sniper perk, which is always helpful for stopping running gunners in their tracks. And there's a Soltron Dominatrix, apparently. I'm just locked in a stare off here, don't blink. I think the robot blinked first, and therefore I win. Now, this thing does have UMP-45 sound, simply because the mod that I have installed of my own creation, someone actually popped the Battlefield 4 gun sounds on Gun Network. I downloaded them and put them into Fallout 4. Penetrator perk action coming in here. Shoot right through a roof and get them with damage over time. Nice. And yeah, I made the combat rifle sound like the UMP-45 whilst unsuppressed. Also, great hitboxes, Todd. Good stuff. Not many to go now. It looks like the SKS, whilst being unsuppressed, is an efficient killer as anything, really, which is nice. So I've been developing my next companion mod. I'm actually adding in a huge underground base as assault where I actually missed killing that person. Well, that's fine. I've just rectified that and actually thought that was a gunner looking at me just now. But nope, it's just an empty suit of power armor. And I did watch some sort of developer conference that Bethesda had. Some of their level design guys were talking. I think it was like a recorded university lecture thing, and yeah, that was actually really interesting because you got to learn something about how Fallout 4 was developed in the way that the world was put together, and yeah, it was actually kind of interesting. So I'm currently learning how all of that fits together, and hopefully I can learn it properly so I can develop a nice interior space, you know, that looks good and also feels good, because that's what I kind of want to do, because it'll be my last companion mod probably in Fallout 4, so I want to make it a nice and good one after that. Okay, so it looks like we've just got one to deal with, and yep, I'm really glad I've got the acrobat legs on, because that was definitely fatal fall damage there. I completely missed the roof that I was supposed to jump on. We'll keep on heading towards this last gunner there, and then we'll pop them in the face. Okay, so there you have it, the SKS in automatic or semi-automatic form in Quincy. They're using it as a little bit more of a DMR. Is that the right terminology? Probably not, but you understand what I mean. When games say DMR, they usually say scoped semi-auto rifle, and that's what I've definitely used this for, and it performed well in this task. Also, the other side of the scope appears to be untextured too. Interesting. Okay, we'll move on. Okay, I'd like to take some time in this video to apologize, and this is serious, so everybody put your serious faces on. I have been using this weapon wrong this entire time, and I've made a whole fool of myself. Really, if you're going to use this weapon in Fallout 4, there's actually better a way to do it. And what you do is you just get all of the vodka, and you just cram it down your throat, and now we are properly ready to take on our foes with our SKS. We ran out of bullets, but that's okay because we've got more. If we don't have the rifle, we've got the bullets, and we don't have the bullets, we've got the rifle. Here, you go and charge those MG42s, comrade. Our leaders weren't horrible monsters that were needed to die and shouldn't have been revered in any positive light at all. No, that's bad. You're just being capitalist, Captainoob, they'll tell me. No, your communist leaders were monsters, and you'll never see that. Communism is bad, America. Don't let it in. McCarthy did nothing wrong. Okay, there you go. There's my political spiel for the day. In short, I don't like communism. I think it's terrible. Terrible way to live. Terrible way to be. Just look at the death counts. Moving on. Bottoms up, Raine. Let me tell you, this girl can really handle her alcohol, I'll tell you that much. Okay, let's kill Swan with our automatic variant instead. Ooh, looks like the recoil's a bit stronger now. I don't remember it being this strong. That's weird. Maybe vodka makes the recoil on this thing amplified, or maybe I'm just misremembering what it was actually like to use this weapon. Anyway, looks like we get plenty of VAT hits, which is unusual for weapons of this size, and I'm not taking a stab at this weapon being oversized. Usually, two-handed rifle weapons do get a little bit more of a VAT penalty in game than standard. Also, who died there? Was that a gunner? That was a gunner. There's some sort of mercenary. Don't worry, random encounter guy. I'll save you. I'll just pop him in the head a few more times in VATs. Pop him in his big old super mutant dome. Oh, 1,000 damage just from those criticals. That's beautiful. That's like 3,300 damage, maybe a bit more, all up there. So, yep, Swan doesn't even stand a chance. Yeah, this weapon's a little bit on the OP side, but yeah. There you have it. That was the SKS, and yeah, it's been an interesting weapon for what it is. I do actually like this weapon. I remember using it back in Battlefield 3. Not so much in 4 because, yeah, they were a separate weapon class, and I used to just grind up my sniper rifle ribbons just by killing people with the SKS, and that was basically all of my sniping back in Battlefield 3. But I digress. If you'd like to see this thing in your game, check out the description. There shall be a link down there. I'm sure of the PC port because that is what I am playing it on. But yeah, if there's a console port, I'll chuck a link down below. And yeah, the Raine companion mod, which is the character I'm currently playing as, be sure to bring the vodka, will be in the description also. Thank you for watching, guys.